One more ticket to be punched for the semifinals of the AA bracket here in the 46th Annual Flyers Cup. And it's the 2-seed North Penn Knights at 18-3 under head coach Kevin Vitus. And they go up against the 7-seed Pennridge Rams. Lost some 14 seniors from last year's team that won its second Flyers Cup in 3 years, but still very dangerous for head coach Jeff Montagna. And a 7-2 win over Avon Grove in the first round, and hoping that they can make a run here and keep it going. They do have enough pieces from last year's Flyers Cup championship team where they feel like they have that possibility. James Rush, the junior, with 27 goals this year and 5 hat tricks. Shane Dakowski, he's got 2 Flyers Cup championships in his pocket, and the senior would love for one more. It's sort of their last hurrah, of course. 36 goals and 64 points and 5 hat tricks. And Jacob Witten between the pipes with a .257 goals against average and a save percentage of .918 with 28 saves on 30 shots in game 1 in their 7-2 win over Avon Grove. And he also has that championship pedigree, and they've been there, done that, but they were a little inconsistent, a little bumpy this season because they have so many young players, so many JV guys stepping up and filling roles. They've lost guys like Andrew Savona and Kevin Pico and the older Dakowski, Colin Dakowski. They've all moved on, but this is a team that's been there, done that. 3 Flyers Cup championship appearances in the last 3 years, winning 2 of them, also winning 2 state championships, including a huge win for Jacob Witten in the state championship game to knock off Thomas Jefferson. And all the saves that he can make, 50 saves in a game, well, yeah, he's been there, done that. North Penn, though, winning 13 straight at one point on its way to a record of 18-3. The Knights losing to Central Bucks South 4-3 in the conference championship game, so that kind of bumped them down a notch, but still a very good season for the North Penn Knights, who were probably a little bit in the running for the number 1 seed, but Council Rock South beat them out. Central Bucks South was very good in the Suburban National this year. Pennridge 13-8. They've run up against these guys before. North Penn going 2-0 against Pennridge in earlier meetings this season. So who's going to come away here in game number 3 and advance on to the semifinals, looking to move on for a potential date with Downingtown West. I should say Downingtown East. The Cougars defeating Downingtown West 4-0 in the semifinal on the other side of this bracket. 2 versus 7, the North Penn Knights against the Pennridge Rams in the Flyers Cup AA bracket quarterfinals, and it's coming up next.
Do you know what a blue hen is? It's prideful, spirited, fiery. A blue hen never backs down from a challenge. And we're there to support them. Delaware Orthopedic Specialist, the official orthopedic partner of University of Delaware Athletics.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Eldion Padulary in Feasterville, Trevose today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey Flyers fans, baseball's right around the corner. Your Trenton Thunder begin their jam-packed season with an opening night celebration on Wednesday, June 4th. Dress your tie-dye best with your fellow Deadheads at Grateful Dead Night on June 6th. Join Bat Dog's Rookie and Dash during Bat Dog Celebration on June 25th. And honor America's birthday with 4th of July at the ballpark. Daily deals return with Kids Eat Free Tuesdays, Dollar Hot Dog Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Cases Pork Roll Fridays, and Fireworks Select Thursdays and Saturdays. There's something going on at every game in 2025. Get your tickets at TrentonThunder.com.
This broadcast is presented by the Flyers Cup and SFBN, who own all broadcast rights. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game, including social media, is strictly prohibited.
Jacob Witten had 43 saves in the state championship game over Thomas Jefferson last year, 7-5 at Stadium, and their second state championship for Pennridge in 3 years. Witten this season as the senior, and his last hurrah and his last go here at it in the Flyers Cup, coming off of a 7-2 win in the opening round game. In the 7-10 game, Pennridge took care of the Avon Grove Red Devils 7-2. And Witten overall this season 11-8 with a goals against average of .257 and a save percentage of .918. It is Andrew Norton who will get the starting nod in goal. They have been rotating their goaltenders pretty much all season for the North Penn Knights. And Andrew Norton at 9-1 with a goals against of .228 and a save percentage of .901. For the junior, but the sophomore Aiden Quigley has been very good as well with a 7-2 mark and a .213 goals against and a better save percentage at .917. They've had some good goaltending and some good defense, and they got some guys who can score it too, including sophomore Sam Norton, 30 goals, 58 points, and 5 hat tricks. Cole Pluck is a senior with 22 goals, and on it goes for a 18-3 North Penn team. The 2 seed against the 7 seed, but the 7 seed, the defending Flyers Cup champs. Interesting matchup. Cross ice pass, Nolan Shingle into the middle. Broken up, hustling back the senior Shane Dakowski. And here come the Pennridge Rams on the counterattack and flicking that across for the black and green and into the zone, and a shot from the left wing. Dakowski punched away off the blocker of Andrew Norton, goes in behind the goal. They wrestle for it, they get physical down there. Sam Norton, I think, scores the takedown as he kind of shoved him down, and the puck comes up and into the trapper of Andrew Norton as they tried to peel it out in front for Kevin Vitus's crew, who won 13 straight before losing to Central Bucks South 4-3. They lost to Central Bucks South in the Suburban National Division playoffs. North Penn has defeated Pennridge twice this year, most recently January 29th. It was a 1-goal game, 4-3, and they also scored a 5-0 win over Pennridge earlier this season as well on December 19th. So North Penn 2-0 against Pennridge, 5-0 and 4-3. Chipped all the way down ice and an icing violation. So we have one more semifinal spot to fill in the AA bracket. The 1 seed Council Rock South were in for quite the dogfight in their first game after they received a bye in the opening round. And the 9 seed Boyertown Bears had a 3-0 lead in the third period before the Golden Hawks of Council Rock South scored 5 straight, including an empty netter, but they scored 4 goals in 3.5 minutes to turn a 3-0 deficit to a 4-3 lead on their way to a 5-3 win. So 1 seed Council Rock South moves on. They will play the bottom seed, 12 seed Springford Rams, with back-to-back upset wins over 5 seed Central Bucks South, and then today a shutout win over 4 seed Haverford. So the Cinderella story continues for Springford, and it's a 1 versus 12 matchup in the 1 semifinal. The winner of this game will advance to play on Tuesday against the Downingtown East Cougars, and they also won by a shutout over the Whippets of Downingtown West 4-0. So who will advance to play the Cougars of Downingtown East? Jab forward by Boyle. Here comes Shingle, past the D, shooting. Nice save, Jacob Witten. Looked like he got a piece of it with the glove and knocked it away. Scooped up in front of their own goal. Dean Venner is looking for an exit, and he has James Rush up there with 53 points, including 27 goals. Gobbled up Sam Norton, 30 goals this year and across the line. And yeah, a little shoving and some emotions and adrenaline going on. And you see some of those students and largely banging the glass there in support of their friends from North Penn. So just underway here for Andrew Norton in net for the Knights, and Jacob Witten going as the starter for Pennridge, who lost about 14 players from last year's team that won its second Flyers Cup and second state championship over Thomas Jefferson High School. They won it twice in 3 years, and they went to a Flyers Cup championship in between, but they lost a late lead against Penncrest, and a real heartbreaker that one was. All right, a lead pass for Haftel from Evans, and here comes Luke Haftel into the zone, into the right wing boards, and rolled around the wall. Pennridge there looking for an exit. Had a nice little tip, and gobbled up and on the move. Here comes Dylan Howard across the line, and play whistled down for an offside in too soon. So we got the early feel-out period here, essentially, with a lot of whistles, but two teams that don't really need that much of a feel-out period because they're in the same league. They both come out of the Suburban National, and they have played already twice this season. Neutral zone face-off across from the North Penn bench, and head coach Kevin Vitus, and it is sent in deep. Last year is a 12 seed North Penn, and they lost in the first round to Haverford 6-2. So here they come in, and almost a 1 seed. They land the 2 seed, more or less the same same difference. You know, really could have gone either way on that, but Council Rock South got that 1 seed just by a little bit, I would think. And now here's Young from the right point, shoots it wide and off the boards, bounds out to Salvatore D'Aquino, a senior with 2 state championships under his belt. You know, that experience, that matters. Even though they're a 7 seed, even though they're 14-8, they've been there and experienced the pressure of the championship action of the Flyers Cup. And as we mentioned, North Penn last year, they were a 12 seed and got eliminated in the first round. So their background trying to advance in the Flyers Cup, not as much. Here comes Bishop in across the line and fired it in deep. Did Landon Bishop, the sophomore, with 11 goals and 19 assists. Stepping up to try to keep it in is Justin Dinsmore. North Penn stayed with it. Dinsmore pinballing it back and forth, and now a little tap forward from Shaw, and in and behind the goal, swooping in and after it, and Kelly Del Rizzi back there. And elevated high in the air. Good pace on that. Is that going to be an icing? And no, as it spins wide of the cage, but going slowly. No, that was perfect pace. Stepping up to keep it into the point is James Boyle. Cole Pluck with 22 goals this year. Banged it around the L and over to the other side of the left point for Landon Hostetter, who poked it through Garber, and in behind the goal is Justin Dinsmore, the junior. North Penn player from his knees fighting for it while he was tangled up. Still fighting for it. Another player is hauled down. And we're getting a little feisty early. It's getting a little perky out there. How about the percolator? Yeah, we are percolating early on. And about to boil over, it feels like, here in the first period. So they take a North Penn player to the box, namely Nolan Shingle, on an interference penalty. And now we'll give Pennridge the early crack at it here on the power play. And so you get your top guys out there, including Shane Dukowski with 36 goals, 64 points, 5 hat tricks, had a goal and 2 assists and a 3-point effort in their round 1 game, the 7-2 win over the Red Devils of Avon Grove. Poked back to the point, and here's Rush, number 95 from the point. Put it in down low, and a backhander is steered wide. James Rush quarterbacking this, 5 hat tricks this year, 27 goals total. Out in front, bounces off the pads of Andrew Norton, and he spots it and hangs on. Boy, close call on a hot rebound off the North Penn Knights goaltender Andrew Norton. 1:42 to go on the Pennridge power play on the interference penalty against junior Nolan Shingle, who also happens to be one of their top scorers as well this year, with 20 goals and 17 assists for 37 points. Landon Bishop on the faceoff is a sophomore with 11 goals, wins that draw. Young trying to get off a shot. Nick Young taking off the puck, and it's cleared back out to center. James Rush will crank it up again. And, he had another friend over there on the other side that hadn't quite touched up yet, and I think that Nathan McKean was stuck in across the line and whistled down for an offside. With 1:30 to go on the power play and 12-12 left in the first period. And after our last semifinal where, it was just kind of lopsided, but still sort of a track meet, here we've got shots at 2-2, 5 minutes into the game. So maybe a little more defensively sound and looking at that structure a little bit. Now scooped up by Pennridge. The Rams ready to start the breakout from behind their own goal after it was cleared by the Knights, and Samuel Norton is guarding. Nice pass on the tape for Young. Cross ice not quite on the tape for Bishop on the other side, and Landon Bishop in pursuit and behind the goal, rolled back out to the right point. Rush bangs it in down there for Bishop, a little wide of Bishop actually, and wide of Young, and then kept it on the left boards. Oh, a little dangerous. Deflected and over the waving trapper and glove of Andrew Norton, and gobbled up in the corner and cleared all the way down ice and all the way back to the Pennridge Rams side now with 11:25 to go in the first. 42 seconds left on the power play. Here comes Pennridge, gaining speed. Shane Dukowski to the right dot, shooting, it's on, it's loose, and played over the corner after Andrew Norton bopped it away. Nolan Shaw in there behind the goal, trying to tap it out of the point, and it's a little wide of Josh Kelly all the way back to their blue line, and then lifting his stick, Sam Norton out is, up, that's not, this is, Sam Norton who steals. Nolan Shingle sitting out. I got a little turned around in my head. And Norton trying to create something shorthanded and also successfully killed a little clock. 5 seconds left on the penalty to Nolan Shingle on the interference minor. And here comes James Boyle. Long lead pass. He comes out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. 10:35 to go in the first period. No score in the 2-versus-7 game. North Penn versus Pennridge in the quarterfinals of the Flyers Cup Double-A bracket. Pennridge won its first game. North Penn had the first round bye. 12 teams in the Double-A bracket, so the top 4 got a first round bye. Going after it, Ryan Burke. Little tangled up over there with Chris Silvati. Big guy, got in a bump on Burke as the puck whistled across the other way and scooped up by Declan Leahy. Into the zone, and Leahy has Lugara in there and pushed through the blue paint from Lugara. Now Silvati over there took a shove, and they have another penalty coming up here. And the officials want to gain control of this game early, and a high stick has been called. And so this is going to be a North Penn power play. They are taking a Pennridge player to the box, namely number 23, Dean Venner. North Penn on the power play. And they had a lot of big scores and blowout games this year. 11-0, 9-2 over Pennsbury, 11-2 over Central Bucks West, 8-7 over Souderton, 7-0 over Neshaminy. I mean, 11-1 over Souderton. Some big scores as they can score a lot of goals. And from a sharp angle, there's a save for Jacob Winton, and it's picked up and cleared all the way down. Good work on the PK for the Pennridge Rams. 1.5 to go on the power play. Here come the Knights. North Penn, James Boyle carries across all 3 lines. It's wide open for him to gain entry into the zone and hand it off to Cabrales in behind the goal. And there's Shingle in the left corner. Norton from the left point. Rotated over, Cabrales, back door, the shot, goal! And a beauty for Nolan Shingle on the power play from the left dot. Nolan Shingle on the backdoor pass. Power play goal with 9:07 to go in the first period, and it's 1-0 North Penn. Cabrales put it all the way across. He's wide open on the back door and doesn't bother with, getting everything on it. Just get it on net quickly. See that little flick? He's not winding up. The harder you shoot, the more likely you are to miss it. He cared about the accuracy and getting it on net. Nolan Shingle with his 21st goal of the year opens the scoring in this quarterfinal matchup of the Flyers Cup, and the North Penn Knights, the 2 seed, take the initial lead at 1-0. Salvatore DeQuino back there and around the end boards and looking for an exit up along the boards and blocked down on the point, Declan Leahy, but it was hopping around, hard to control. Here comes Gunning in to the right wing. Caden Gunning plastered against the glass. Cabrales over there got a piece of him from the blue line. A little tap across. James Rush is reaching for it on Silvati. Silvati got a little help from a friend, and North Penn's going to backhand shovel it all the way into the Pennridge Rams side. Here come the black and green. Oh, that's an intercept, and here they come with Cabrales in and put all the way down to the corner. Out in front of one-timer, and he hammered it wide. Derek Lugara from the high slot. Missed it past the right skate of Jacob Winton. Had a good crack at it there. North Penn a 1-0 lead. Out shooting Pennridge 5-3. Rams deflected into the North Penn zone. And Cabrales sends Silvati up the right wing, shooting and missing to the glove side of Jacob Winton. Bouncing off the end boards off the back of the netting, and there's kind of a Silvati reaming a man and taking him down a little bit. I think he fell on Ryan Burke, who's okay. Tried to feed it in the middle, and that's broken up in front of the net by Nicholas Young, looking for a clear. Bouncing puck comes out to Young again, and evaluating and connects across into the zone. Here comes Shane Dukowski. They need a big game out of him. Sharp angle shot, but from longer range, and easily for the stick save, it was Andrew Norton there. Shane Dukowski with 36 goals this year and 5 hat tricks. They need to get him and James Rush going. Instead, it's a long shot from left point from Nicholas Young with 5 goals this season, and it's swallowed in by Andrew Norton, who gains the whistle. No further play with 6:54 to go in the first period, and a 1-0 lead for the 2-seed North Penn Knights. The semifinals on Tuesday, either at Hatfield or maybe at Iceline, TBD. We will see, but we might be back here at Hatfield next week. So we started with 41 teams, right? And I think 25 of them have been eliminated by the end of play today. All the quarterfinals of the AA and a ton of action in the single A bracket taking place today. The AAA level only with 8 teams, so they've got a day off before they resume play and have the semifinals next week. 2 weeks of high school hockey chaos. There's Jacob Winton with the cover back in the Pennridge zone. So if Pennridge wins, you know, that's a 7 against a 2, but they're the defending champs. They played North Penn twice this year, and one of them was a very close game, 4-3 the last time they met. If Pennridge were to win a 7 versus 2, I don't even know if you really call that much of an upset. Obviously, North Penn is the favored team at 18-3, and Pennridge is 14-8. But this is a really close matchup, and nobody's taking this one for granted. When you're taking on the Pennridge Rams, who have been in the Flyers Cup Championship game 3 consecutive years, and they won it twice. And their head coach, Jeff Montagna, saying, well, this is kind of our last hurrah. They lost like 14 seniors from that team last year. They have a few of the pieces left, including Jacob Winton, who's a big deal, and Shane Dukowski as well. But obviously, they're not getting any older. They are very young and still contending and competing. All right, scooped up at center. Daniel Cabrales scoots past a man and carries all the way down to the corner, and then caught up to a little bit. Nope, he's still got the puck and carries all the way over to the left wing side. Wanted to throw it on net, and it was blocked down, but Pluck handing it off. There's Shingle with a goal already. Way up high, and they're still working it. Pluck trying to navigate into the middle, and it's broken up, and here comes Pennridge rushing back the other way. Nolan Shaw is the senior with 10 goals this year. Ran into double coverage in there, but James Embert is there to support. North Penn picks it off. Out shooting Pennridge 7-5 to begin. Shingle into the zone across the line of the left wing. Handing it off, Pluck in the middle. Oh, a nice shot, a nice save for Jacob Winton as he knocked it away. Looked like off the right pad and kicked it out of there. Good opportunity for Cole Pluck, the senior with 22 goals. Now rushing in, Dylan Howard is in. And Delan Howard's shot is shoved upstairs by Andrew Norton and out of play. Now with 5:16 remaining in the first period. Shingle on the power play with a backdoor slam. 9:07 into the first for a 1-0 lead for the Knights. The 46th year of this Flyers Cup tournament that began as, just an idea. Let's sponsor high school hockey in the area and really kind of spark things in 1981, and the Philadelphia Flyers getting involved in that. And now here we are 46 years later, and on the Other side of the state, they have the Penguins Cup, and the two teams meet for the state championships. Last year at Stadium. This year it'll be over in western Pennsylvania. Big collision there near the North Penn bench, and an interference penalty is coming up. And let's see who we got here. It's a Pennridge player going to the box. I think it's Howard. North Penn, yeah. Dylan Howard, a senior, to the box, and North Penn already 1-for-1 on the power play. And that last power play took him like 5 seconds. It was right off the face-off, it felt like, or pretty close to it. Anyway, 1-for-1 on their second with 4:52 to go in the first period. Pennridge won it, but North Penn has it back. Shingle drops to the point. James Boyle, 14 goals this year. Shingle from the left dot, wanted to feed it into the middle. That was blocked by Nicholas Young. But North Penn hangs on to it, and Pennridge couldn't find the clear. Here come the Knights, bounced off the stick of Pluck, hopping around and into the corner. Scooped up by Pluck, and he backhand tossed it in down there for Nolan Shingle. Cross eyes in the back door, and a big one-timer on the rebound. Samuel Norton hit it off the heel of a stick blade. He couldn't get it on net, and rushing back the other way, Dukowski short-handed, trying to center for James Rush. Kind of had his stick lifted from behind, and he couldn't get it down to try to chip it on to Andrew Norton. So North Penn will settle it down behind its own goal, and the Knights to set up the breakout. 1:15 to go on the power play. 4:05 left in the first. Norton rushes across all three lines on the left wing, carries it in behind the goal on the backhand and all the way over to the right wall, and just still evaluating his options, and he's over there with Danny Alcabrales, and a shot from the left wing after he found James Boyle on a little seam pass, and a glove save for Jacob Winton, with Boyle with 14 goals for the junior, aiming for the far post. So Winton read that all the way. Offensive zone face-off with 59 seconds left on the power play. Now North Penn's future is awfully bright. They lose some players, of course, but this guy on the face-off, Samuel Norton, a sophomore, with 5 hat tricks and 30 goals this year. So yeah, North Penn, they might be back as a 2-seed or a 1-seed next year. They're not thinking about that. They're ready to do it now. There was a shot off the right paddle. Winton kicked away. Here's the goalie coming all the way out to play it, and Andrew Norton, good anticipation. Lost his stick, but he beat him to the puck, and he slotted it away. That's some good heads-up play. Now Boyle in on goal. Winton the save, and a beauty on James Boyle. A remarkable save for Jacob Winton, with James Boyle trying to go 5-hole and aiming for it there, and Winton slammed the door shut. Boy, I thought that was in. I thought that was going to be a goal for number 8, James Boyle, the junior, with 14 goals. 3:18 to go in the first and 27 seconds left on the power play. North Penn has easily had the better of the play here. Pennridge has some ability to counterattack, but they have been outshot in this first period 11-6. Already a 1-0 lead for North Penn. The face-off dribbles all the way back into their own zone, and here comes Landon Hostetter, the sophomore, and his lead pass kind of missed everyone, but I think it tipped off a stick, so no icing. Hustling back to retrieve and played around the boards. It's blocked down by Hostetter behind the goal. Over to the left wall, it's Lugara, and across for Del Risi, who's trying to shoot and just tapped it around the boards again. And we're back to 5-on-5 now. So North Penn goes to 1 for 2 on the power play. Pennridge killed it and keeps it at a 1-goal game. Landon Hostetter settles it down, and Lugara passed it off the back of the skates there of his teammate Chris Silvati. So they have to regroup here and try to dodge away from this pressure. He needs a little help and support back there. All over him was James Embert, and he's going in there 1-on-1 and 1-on-2, tying up for it and causing all kinds of headaches. Now getting a little help over there from Howard. Crash and bang, and it squirts on from the corner and all the way through to Andrew Norton. So, you know, just one errant pass that kind of blows it on your attempt to get it out of your own zone. And all of a sudden, you know, when you're forechecking, you smell blood, you go in after it. And you got a couple of guys there blocking different lanes, and Pennridge didn't get off really much of a shot there, but they were stealing it, and they've set up an offensive zone faceoff after North Penn had the puck. 2:07 to go in the first period. And this is Delan Howard, the senior, with 4 goals this year. They tossed the North Penn player out of there. That doesn't happen very much, but Samuel Norton won the face-off anyway. All's well that ends well for the Knights, the 2 seed at 18-3. Had a 13-game winning streak before they lost in the Suburban National Tournament against Central Bucks South. They lost 4-3. And here they come in again and broken up off the stick of Nolan Shingle. Out in front, a shot. Nice save on the right pad for Jacob Witten. Another try put into the middle and blocked down, broken up by Dean Venner. They can't find the exit. 1.5 to go in the first. From the corner, a shot and a flexion onto the left pad of Witten. Nolan Shingle had a piece of that shot from the right wing corner. And Jacob Witten was wise to it, and another nice denial with 1:20 to go in the first. Shots are 13-7 for the North Penn Knights. They send it high in the air and all the way down. That's going to be an icing. So we're not talking, as opposed to pro hockey where you have the race, and you used to have the race to touch the puck, and now you have the race to the dots. But at the amateur level, the icing is when it crosses the line, as long as it goes all the way down. You have that icing call. 1:12 left in the first period. Lee looking for an exit. It was blocked down to the point, and there's a save for Andrew Norton on a shot quickly coming right back at him. So Norton has made a couple nice ones here too to preserve a 1-0 lead for North Penn. Up in the air and all the way down. It was tipped, and I guess they call that an icing too. And I guess it must have hit off a North Penn stick from behind the red line. So bring the face-off all the way back to the North Penn Knights side. And there's a face-off win for the Knights of North Penn. Silvati couldn't find the exit and picked off, trying to find Shane Dakowski out in front. Mr. Hat-trick, really, and he's had so many in the conference tournament and the Flyers Cups. And here comes Dakowski again from the right dot, trying to dangle. And Declan Leahy stayed there with him. Good stick on stick and just knocking it away. 30 seconds left in the period. He was impeded some, and Silvati tied up a man and kind of took his stick away. Lugara couldn't get going, and now Pennridge on the counterattack. Centering for Dakowski, who was a little in front of him and knocked away. Kept it on the point, hopping puck, turning, and trying to drive it on Justin Dinsmore, and it kind of bounced on him, and he got under it and deflected it over to the corner. Cleared out to center, blocked down Ryan Burke, and he'll just bank it to himself and go after it with a couple seconds left. Still competing for the puck. I don't think he knows how much time is left, and the answer to that question is not much, and the buzzer sounds. First period is over. North Penn outshot Pennridge in the first period, 13-8. The 2 seed North Penn Knights on a power play goal for Nolan Shingle with a 1-0 lead after one in the final semifinal game. The last semifinal of the AA bracket here of the 46th annual Flyers Cup. Bob Rotrug here with you from Hatfield Ice Rink in Colmar, Pennsylvania. Flyers Cup coverage on YouTube presented by SFBN.
Do you know what a blue hen is? It's prideful, spirited, fiery. A blue hen never backs down from a challenge. And we're there to support them. Delaware Orthopedic Specialist, the official orthopedic partner of University of Delaware Athletics.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Haddon Planning Group is an independent financial advisory firm serving all Flyers fans across the country. Located in Pennsylvania since 1981, we will offer a free financial plan to all parents of student athletes participating in the Flyers Cup. For more information about our services, go to Elsewhere in Flyers Cup action as we pick up play here in the second period, and all the way down into the North Penn zone for the coverage. And a couple of possible upsets in the making in the AAA bracket. And will we see a couple of APAC teams go down? Well, Father Judge is leading St. Joe's Prep, the 6th seed Father Judge with a 3-0 lead. And Salesianum, the 5 seed, with a now 4-0. Okay, so Judge scores again. The 6th seed looks like they're in good shape to take down St. Joe's in a 6-3. Salesianum is the 5 seed, and they have a 1-0 lead over Malvern Prep in the 5-4 at the AAA level. Here at the AA level, it is a 1-0 lead for the Knights of North Penn. Council Rock South got past Boyertown here earlier today, trailing 3-0, and then scored 5 goals in the third to win it 5-3. Springford with a 4-0 win over the Fords of Haverford. And so the 12 seed Springford advances to play the 1 seed. So the bottom seed against the top seed coming up in one Tuesday semifinal game. And then the other one, the Downingtown East Cougars defeated the Downingtown West Whippets 4-0. Downingtown East moves on and to play the winner of this one. And right now, the North Penn Knights, the 2 seed, potentially to advance to play the 3 seed Downingtown East, who beat the 6 seed Downingtown West. They set it up that way. I don't know if it was really intentional, but you notice that right away that it was going to be East versus West potentially in that second round. All right, driven all the way on to Jacob Winton. And again, he had 43 saves in a state championship game last year. You know, if anyone can pull it off, this Pennridge team has the guys with the state championship pedigree, and they have that background and attitude and experience, which to me, I think it's worth a lot. But North Penn has taken care of business here as the favorite in the 2 seed with a 1-0 lead. It's only 1-0 though. They've really kind of limited Pennridge and kind of held them to the outside. The Rams with 8 shots on goal now. But they're having a tough time getting pucks and funneling through to the goalie and getting it onto the middle. Now it's pushed all the way on to Jacob Winton, and he's forced to cover up because rushing at him in a hurry was Declan Willison, a freshman for North Penn. And covered by Jacob Winton and hanging on. Nolan Shingle, the junior, with his 21st goal of the season, smacked at it, and he did not have a big windup there from the left dot. He made sure to put it at the right place. Sometimes you can just overshoot it. Doesn't matter how hard you shoot it matters where you shoot it. And he shot it to the right place and into the net for the goal. All right, Pennridge steers it out to center, blocked down to the red line, and tossed back in by Daniel Cabrales. All the way in deep and smacked around the end boards on the backhand by Justin Dinsmore. Pennridge trying to get it going. Yeah, they're running into some neutral zone headaches here too. Dukowski trying to find Rush, and he was tied up by Silvati and the pass behind him. And so intercepted on the counterattack to Cabrales. Dodged away from a man, and then he kind of lost his balance, lost an edge, and he falls. Pennridge wants to get numbers going, but the pass deflected off the stick of James Russian down to the corner, and there's Dukowski coming in and helping out, pushed through the blue paint. Rush came down to the blue line to knock it down. Dukowski behind the goal, pivots away from De Cabrales, and then centered out in front, comes all the way out of the blue line, a shot, and it's on to goaltender Andrew Norton with a save, and he couldn't find the puck for a half a tick there as it was swept over to the corner. Able to scramble back to his feet is Norton, the goaltender. Bouncing over to the left corner, Dukowski, and getting a little cycle going here for the Pennridge Rams. Tangle up in the corner, cutting through the D. Players hauled down. Dukowski here in a battle from somebody else as well. And the officials want to restore some amount of order here, and they're going to take a North Penn player to the box. And that is a roughing penalty on Chris Silvati. Pennridge to go on its second power play of the game. Nice opportunity for the Rams with 14:22 to go in the second period, and North Penn with a 1-0 lead. But they just had their top line out there, so they got to sit the guys like Dukowski and Rush, I think, a little bit. They'll get them in later on unless This crew can put it in first. Cutting in from the corner, Ryan Burke, the sophomore, rolled off his stick and over to the other side. James Embert lifting a stick and winning it there in the corner. Looking, and he had Nolan Shaw in the middle, but he was covered. Bounced back to the point, and Kelly shooting through a screen and wide of the glove of Andrew Norton, comes off the end boards. First one there, and trying to find an exit was Shingle. Couldn't do it. They tried the other side. Backhander off the bench, hit off of a weird stanchion there, took a weird hop and stand there with it. James Boyle pushed out the center, but Pennridge steals it right back in the Rams. Nolan Shaw push it in deep. 1:20 to go on the power play. Hitting the ice is Nicholas Young, the senior defenseman, with 5 goals this year. Had a goal and an assist in their first round victory on Tuesday over Avon Grove, 7-2. Through the neutral zone, and now Pennridge trying to gain an entry, and over to Dukowski as he dangles around a man, and not quite. Norton used his body to stay with him as Shane Dukowski trying to duck underneath. Some nice D over there for sophomore Samuel Norton, getting in the way of Shane Dukowski. Now Dukowski gaining speed through the middle. Absorbs some contact from Pluck, and he got barreled into by Norton. They're getting a body on him, and Norton wants to win that puck, and he's wrestling another man for it over there and causing all kinds of headaches. But James Rush on the pickup, weaving through the D to the high slot and off of his stick, and bounces over to the corner with Dave Cabrales. Yeah, Daniel Cabrales getting a piece. More hitting over there on the bench. Young on Norton as North Penn steals, drives it all the way down ice. Cabrales up there, had a touch. He's a little upset and thought he was interfered with. 15 seconds left on the power play. Dukowski into the zone of the right wing, wanted to cut for the middle, and he's finding a lot of physicality and some traffic there, and Del Ricci was in the way, and he couldn't make that cut. Landon Bishop in the corner, back up high in a shot, long range. Dukowski hits off a stick, tapped over the corner. We're back to 5-on-5 now. Pennridge didn't get much going on that power play. Here's a sharp angle shot. Bishop punched away off the blocker of Norton, and out in front, picked up and cleared all the way down. A little wide of the net, so it is an icing as North Penn sails at length of the ice with 12:07 to go in the second period. 1-0 lead for North Penn. Shots in the second period, Pennridge 3, North Penn 1. Pretty even overall in the game. North Penn 14 and Pennridge 11. But the Rams, I don't feel like they really generated that much, and they spent a lot of time dealing with some of the North Penn physicality in the neutral zone. Really kind of bottling them up some. Now wheeling in behind the goal and on the backhand, it's Deland Howard. Out in front of a one-timer, and he missed it wide. Nice setup. They had a man right there in the bumper gunning, and he was gunning for it, and then Howard put it over the crossbar. Caden Gunning, the junior, just missed on the left skate side of goaltender Andrew Norton. Now it's flipped back to the Pennridge side. Rams with a lot of possession here, and they had that power play, but now they just took an icing. So that pass that misfired, maybe a little bit under some of the pressure, forces them back into their own zone for the offensive zone face-off for North Penn. So the team that won 2 Flyers Cups in 3 years, but in 2023 they lost to the Pennsbury Falcons. I might have said Penn's Crest, I'm sorry. I meant Pennsbury. They were 8-1 to start the season, and then 5-7 to finish. So they had quite a lot of success to start, and in that 5-7 finish, just so many close games. Lose to Council Rock South 5-2, lose to Central Bucks East 3-2, lost to Council Rock South in the Suburban National Tournament 4-1. Just a lot of, mostly nail biters. Lose to North Penn, of course, we talked about their last matchup, January 29th. They lost 4-3, lost to CB South 4-3. So yeah, their record isn't as impressive, but so many close games where Pennridge comes away on some of those 8 losses going, we felt that one could have gone either way, and we're just not on the right side of these. Well, right now they're not on the right side of this one either. They're trailing 1-0. They try to center for Cabrales. It goes behind him, and now back out of there, trying to turn that into numbers. Embert is in, shooting off the stick. There, hustling back to defend. Hostetter got a piece of it. And then another shot dribbled over to the corner, and there was an a cross-checking call on the way as well. And they're taking another North Penn player to the box. On the rush, the Pennridge Rams, they They didn't get off much of a shot, but they did induce a penalty and earn themselves another power play as Samuel Norton will sit out. And now Pennridge 0 for 2 on the power play, and I didn't think they really developed or created a whole lot on their last one, but they got a third power play now. North Penn hanging on to a 1-0 lead with 10:29 to go in the second period. Rush keeps it into the blue line, and now it goes cross-ice, stopping, Dukowski shooting right on. Glove save for Andrew Norton. Shane Dukowski stopped it and shoveled it on, and Andrew Norton anticipated and pushed off laterally across to his left to get the positioning and make that save. Off the face-off, and out there is Landon Bishop on the draw, trying to hold it in over there. James Rush cleared out to center, chip back to Nicholas Young, and a lead pass. Dukowski is into the left wing. Little dangle, and couldn't quite make it through, but Young is there to back him up, pick it up, and shoot it on. Andrew Norton with the glove save on Nicholas Young. For the whistle now with 10:02 left in the second period and 1:34 to go on the Pennridge Rams' third power play of the game. So the action continues with far fewer teams than what we had at the beginning of the week. 5 or 6 rinks and games going on at the same time, and all of that opening round action on Tuesday, and some play-in games and other action on Monday and Wednesday, but Tuesday and Thursday are really the big deals and the big days with a lot of the most games anyway. Here comes James Rush as he rushes up the right wing and kind of crunched in against the boards there by Kelly Del Risi, and then picked up there by Rush and put in down low. Still a minute 5 left on the power play. Cross ice in the cage. Knocked off the pegs. They didn't even get off a shot on that play. So as is typical for the Flyers Cup, we've had our share of some interesting matchups and upsets, and the Springford Rams are, of course, kind of the talk of the tournament. The last team in, the last team invited to the dance. The 12 seed Springford Rams are on to the semifinals, where they will take on the 1 seed, and Council Rock South was taken to the limits in game 1. Out in front, right on. It's loose, gets behind him, no goal. The cage knocked off the pegs, and Norton kept it out. Norton was on top of it in the blue paint. And those kids over there are loving the action, coming right at him behind the goal. Man, Andrew Norton kind of got barreled over there to the junior goaltender, 9-1. Aiden Quigley has been great too, 7-2 as a sophomore, but today it's Norton, 9-1. Goals against of .228, the same percentage of .901. Pennridge still with 52 seconds left on the power play. Landon Bishop, the sophomore, is on the face-off, and now he's going to go up against Declan Leahy. Leahy, and it's a sophomore against sophomore, and there was Bishop winning the draw. Back to Rush. Winds and shoots into a lot of traffic. It's loose and covered by Norton, who felt like he might have gotten a little whack in there. There was some traffic in the net front and trying to find that loose puck. And I think that was 92, Nathan McKean, the senior down there. Off the face-off, and this time North Penn wins the draw. Rocked around the wall and all the way back out. Rush is going to leave it right there behind him, and Young, a little tap for Dukowski with his feet moving, shooting on the move, and right on. Andrew Norton with the save, and he hangs on with 9:01 to go in the second. Now 33 seconds to go on this power play. It's not exactly winding down on him all that quickly, because we got one whistle after another on these power plays. Landon Bishop is their power play face-off specialist here in the left circle anyway. And he wins that draw, sort of. And then North Penn stepped up and picked it up anyway. Elevated high and out, Declan Leahy, and all the way down to Jacob Winton. And now he's forced to take a cover in his own end. And that's something you don't want to have to do, especially when you're on the power play. So now the face-off comes back to the Pennridge Rams side. Pennridge is now out shooting North Penn 17-14. Of course, they've had 2 power plays in this period. Shots in the period, what do we have now? 9-1. Yeah, I mean, so we've been talking up Andrew Norton and Jacob Winton, who was really good in the first. Here's Dukowski in right on Norton. And Dukowski, this time he got off the shot. He keeps on trying to push his way through the D. And sometimes it fizzles out when a D is there to stay with him, but if Shane Dukowski can work his way to his right or to his left and work his way to an open shot, he's got a great chance to rifle one through. With 36 goals this year and 64 points. This time he did get the shot off, but Andrew Norton the save. 11 seconds left on the power play. North Penn Knights win the faceoff. Yeah, the shots in the period are now 10-1 Pennridge. So it's been Andrew Norton keeping them up. Now Boyle pushes back the other way, shorthanded. Now not shorthanded anymore. Samuel Norton out of the box, and we're back to 5-on-5. Pennridge goes to 0 for 3 on the power play. The Rams scoop it up. Here's Ryan Burke. Lead pass up on the right wall and into the zone. And trying to make it happen there is Nolan Shaw evaluating, wanted to push it into the middle. The pass blocked by Samuel Norton. Picked up on the blue line, a long shot and a save. Rebound and hammered wide of Andrew Norton on that putback by Joshua Kelly. Kelly now blocked it down to the left point. A shot hit his own teammate. Friendly fire. Bounces out to Kelly, rolling on his stick. He missed it, goes back and gets it then from behind the goal. Pennridge trying to center, broken up and stolen by North Penn and cleared back out to center. 7:45 to go in the second period. North Penn 1, Pennridge nothing. Nolan Shingle, the junior, from the left circle on the cross-ice seam pass power play goal. Back in the first period with 9:07 left, and that's been it for either side. Good goaltenders duel. Good, well-played game for Andrew Norton of North Penn. Jacob Winton of Pennridge, who was good in the first, hasn't had to do much in the second. Now a long lead pass, Nolan Shaw, one man to beat. He's angled wide to the right, centering out in front. It was broken up and stolen. Lead pass the other way, looking for the breakaway. They're not going to get it. They caught up to Leahy up there and bumped, and that was actually Cole Pluck that they caught up to. Bishop back in on the counterattack, handing it off, rush, and they blow play down. They've got a too many men penalty called. So while they're substituting on that long stretch pass, one of these sides got too many men out there and got a little turned around on their substitution efforts. I think that's what they called. Yep, they're taking a Pennridge player, and they got him on a too many men. North Penn with only the one shot in the period now. I mean, they're the 2 seed. They have the 1-0 lead. They were the better team in the first. And yes, Pennridge has had the power plays here, but they've also had the puck pretty much the whole period, even at 5-on-5 as well. But now North Penn gets the power play. And that's where they scored it before. They're 1 for 2 and on their third. And so a chance to get it away from their goalie, and maybe not. Short-handed, Dukowski all the way to the corner. Hostetter narrows the angle on him. Forces Dukowski in behind the goal, pivots back the other way, carried it out in front, trying for a wild wraparound try, almost 1-on-3, but it just did roll off of his stick, and now he's got to hustle back to his own zone, while Silvati will drive it in deep for the Knights of North Penn with 1.5 to go on the power play. Pennridge finds the handle, clears out to center. Kelly Del Risi there. And here's Hostetter across the red line, got it in deep. On his horse is Nicholas Young. Oh, he sent it over the glass and out of play. He was trying to shoot it off the glass, and instead he airmailed that overhead. So that brings the faceoff back to the Pennridge side with 6:12 to go in the second period. 1:13 left on this North Penn power play. Still only one shot all period for the Knights of North Penn, including none on this power play. Cole Pluck on the faceoff is going to try to help him change that right now, and he wins that draw over to Nolan Shingle with their goal. Cabrales is into the right dot, shooting off the outside of the post. That one caught the outside of the iron, past the glove of Winton. It was kind of on a wide angle a little bit, so not too dangerous, but still, you catch iron, you're kind of close. Oh, he blew a tire there on the point, and then Boyle stayed with it, and it stayed on the blue line, and James Boyle cuts in, shoots it wide past the right pad of Jacob Winton. Bouncing puck back in there behind the goal, and then eventually picked up and cleared out to center. Thuds in the shins of Cabrales, hustles back to recover with a little support from James Boyle, who's forced in behind his own goal. and ready to crank it up here with 30 seconds to go on the power play. On that Pennridge, too many men on the ice penalty. Norton goes wide of a man. In behind the goal, one of the wraparound. It's not there. Handing it off, and now Boyle for the right circle. Shooting, aiming for the upper left corner. Oh, a nice recovery there by Winton as he got a right shoulder on it to deflect it away. James Boyle and North Penn in. 10 seconds left in the power play. Shingle, backdoor goal! Shingle finds James Boyle to slap it in on the back door. Beautiful passing on the move on the power play. It's 2-0 North Penn. So they had some transition. They had Pennridge backpedaling. And Shingle, who scored there first, this time finds his teammate on the back door and just keep on trucking forward. He had a step on that tee, and he slams it in past the pursuit of James Winton. I don't think there's anything he could have done there. A big goal to get on the power play for North Penn, and the Knights take a 2-0 lead. Love that hustle and push up ice for Boyle. You know, he knew he had a chance while Shingle was kind of hanging on to it top of the left circle. That's some good vision there by Shingle to hang on, let the play develop, don't force it, and then just by waiting a tick, he was there to see James Boyle on the back door speeding forward. Now 3 guys smacked into each other. A Pennridge player is down and is hurt as the puck comes into the zone to Landon Bishop. And actually, I might take it back, that's Justin Dinsmore who was crunched there. 3 guys smacked into each other. It looked rather unintentional, but Dinsmore got stung on that play and comes over. Now, he got up and went over to the bench on his own. So this is a game being decided by special teams right now. Pennridge 0 for 3 on the power play. They had some chances. And Andrew Norton now, let's talk about him a little bit. 20 saves on 20 shots, and especially here in the second period with 12 saves, he's been pretty darn good. So Pennridge is 0 for 3. North Penn Knights are 2 for 3. Here comes Pennridge again. Rush whiffed on it. A defenseman got a little tip on that before he could get the shot off. Nicholas Young trying to push forward and broken up by Bugara. Declan Leahy taking off the puck. D'aquino will spin it in deep. And there's James Boyle back there for North Penn. And here they come with Leahy, and has a step on Bishop. Can he turn this into a breakaway? He's pushed from behind, and they'll blow play down and call it a penalty. They didn't think so. They didn't think that Declan Leahy was going to get past him. And in fact, he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to take the risk there of getting that push from behind. And that's going to give North Penn another power play here. And it's already 2 for 3. So Landon Bishop gets called for the hold. North Penn 2 for 3. And the Knights go on their 4th power play of the game, and the 2 seed with an 18-3 record looking to build on a somewhat okay but not too comfortable 2-0 lead that they would like to make more comfortable. But it's a face-off win. Dukowski rushing away. He wanted to turn that into something short-handed. It's very clear that North Penn is trying to get a body on him. Slow him down, do what it takes. Penalty behind the play. Dukowski got in the head of Cabrales, and Cabrales is taken to the box. And that is a slash on Cabrales, and that will cut off North Penn's power play before it even had a chance to begin. And now, 13 seconds into their power play, it ends as quickly as it began. And we'll have 4-on-4 for 1:47 instead. And Pennridge technically gets a power play of its own on the other side of this. It'll be 13 seconds long. But right now, a lot of open ice. 4-on-4. That opens it up some for Dukowski when he gets back out there, as well as Rush. But right now, it's stolen for North Penn with numbers. Shingle is in shooting. Oh, it goes behind Winton. They scooped it up on the line. James Winton didn't know it was there. Nicholas Young picked it up right there on the line and swept it away before it could dribble in. Winton was just frozen there. The puck was behind him. I don't know if it was actually going to go in. It was just sitting there in the blue. but obviously somebody needed to get to that, or somebody's going to hop in and pop it through. It was that close to a 3-0 game. Shingle really handcuffed Winton on that shot from the right circle, and I think it kind of got underneath, got on his left arm, on his glove, and he wasn't sure where it was, so he's frozen. It was right there behind him, and they picked it up off the blue line. Man, it is getting a little chippy out there. Pennridge Rams played out to center. 3 minutes to go in the second period into the zone, and poked off the stick of Ryan Burke and just dispossessing him and stealing it back. North Penn Samuel Norton to the red line with Shingle there with him, but Burke, two guys clobber into each other there. Rush is okay, and it looks like Norton is okay too. Man, guys are not getting out of the way of each other, that's for sure. 2.5 to go in the second. We're still playing 4-on-4 as the puck comes out of the neutral zone and gobbled up by James Rush. Right up the middle and wanted to put on a move. Goes wide to Hostetter and a backhander. I think off the side of the net and then popped up and out of play on the deflection for a whistle with 2:21 left in the second period. 40 seconds remaining here in the 4-on-4 in the quarterfinals of the AA bracket of the 46th annual Flyers Cup. 45 years strong now in our 46th year here of Philadelphia area high school hockey chaos. And a face-off win for Pennridge. Just trying to get one of them back before the break if they can, trailing 2-0 against the North Penn Knights. They've had some decent chances here, and Andrew Norton has stopped every gosh darn one of them. Offensive zone face-off again. Nolan Shaw on the draw, and he won it clean. Rotated all the way back to Kelly on the blue line, shooting it on off the right shoulder of Norton on that drive from Josh Kelly. And here comes Silvati back in. Carries it on the backhand. Now pivots to the forehand of the right wing corner and looking and trying to find something, and he connects in behind his own goal. Cole Pluck turning, shooting. It's on Winton, and he's got it before Silvati can dig and jab one in. So covered in the whistle for Jacob Winton now with 1:49 left in the second period. First period goal for Nolan Shingle with 9:07 left. Second period goal also on the power play. James Boyle from Shingle with 5:04 left. And this was after Pennridge was out shooting North Penn 9-1 to begin the second period. But then North Penn on the power play, and they bury it to stretch their lead to 2-0 after we came pretty close to 1-1 on many occasions. Pennridge put it in deep. The Rams are in after it, and he's just going to carry it out himself. Good work for North Penn's Cole Pluck, and he goes across Silvati. Tried to push on the backhander, but it goes in behind the goal. Both teams get a player back. We had 13 seconds of power play time, so quick you hardly noticed it. Out in front, looking for Lay, didn't quite reach him there. On a little poke over from Cole Pluck. Down to the corner, Pluck. Centered out in front and across. Settled over there for Del Risi. And shooting and deflected off a stick and upstairs and out of play. With 1:09 left in the second period. The shots favor Pennridge 21-19. But in this period, it is 13-6 for Pennridge. But it's North Penn with the power play goal, the only goal of the period. The winner moves on to play Downingtown East as they get past Downingtown West today in the other semifinal game. On this side of the bracket, 4-0. The 3-seed Downingtown East, perhaps to play the 2-seed North Penn, the way things are shaped up right now. Pennridge has other designs on that, and that is a delayed high stick touch. So we get another whistle to blow play down. Oh, we had a penalty here. Okay. So another North Penn power play. Last one was 13 seconds. Nicholas Young on the cross check. North Penn is 2 for 4, including the one that's 13 seconds long. 2 for 4 for the Knights, and on their fifth, Samuel Norton on the faceoff, and a 2-0 lead with under a minute to go in the second period. And now it's Nolan Shingle with a goal and assist, and a handoff there for James Boyle. Out in front, Norton, nice save for Jacob Winton. Played off the back of the netting, out in front, put it into the middle. Swept away and kept into the center point by Shingle. Samuel Norton shooting, stick save in midair. James Boyle on a swing, and he just missed. He couldn't quite make contact. Shingle from the corner, Norton the left point. Passing all the way across, Cabrales chased it down to the right dot, now stolen by Pennridge. Dukowski rushing back up, shorthanded, dangles into the slot, ran into traffic and some bodies, rolls off of his stick. Ryan Burke is over there. 10 seconds left in the period for Pennridge, shorthanded. They got a piece of Ryan Burke behind the goal. He couldn't do anything with it. North Penn, one chance for a counterattack. The pass was tipped, dribbles in, that is it. Buzzer sound, second period is over. And Pennridge certainly had its fair share of chances here in the second period. But Andrew Norton now with 21 saves on 21 shots between the pipes for the North Penn Knights. Nolan Shingle scored on the power play in the first, then James Boyle from Shingle on the power play in the second. A pair of power play goals for North Penn. And by the way, the Knights get a minute 7 of carryover power play time to begin the third. Shots in the game, Pennridge 21, North Penn 20. Shots in the period favored Pennridge 13-7. And at one point it was 9-1, 10-1 in the second period. Pennridge was all over them, including their two power plays. But eventually, North Penn got its own power play. They weathered the storm, and they were able to bury it on their power play with like 10 seconds left on the power play and kind of on the rush as well. So it's North Penn, the 2 seed, leading Pennridge, the 7 seed. And it's 2-0 North Penn, looking good to punch its ticket to the semifinals in the AA bracket of the Flyers Cup to be played on Tuesday night. And the winner of this game to take on Downingtown East. Bob Rotrug here with you from Hatfield Ice in Colmar, Pennsylvania. And looking good for North Penn with a 2-0 lead after 2. Exclusive coverage of the Flyers Cup on YouTube presented by SFBN.
Bluestein, Michael & Company, certified public accountants, believe that your bottom line is as important to them as it is to you. Why? Because they care about the things that you care about. Whereas most accountants can take your numbers and put them on financial statements and tax returns, Bluestein and Michael work with you through the year to help you solve problems by providing sound professional advice. They enable you to make key business decisions, and they are with you throughout the entire year, not just tax time. Bluestein and Michael are not just hired hands. They are part of your team, and they provide professional service when you need it most. Bluestein and Michael specialize in accounting, tax, and consulting services for small businesses, primarily for the construction industry. If you're looking for yes men, hire someone else. But if you want sound advice from service-oriented CPAs, then you'll want to call Bluestein and Michael at 215-635-3200. That's Bluestein and Michael at 215-635-3200.
Hey fans, the Sports Fan Base Network is offering player shoutouts on every Flyers Cup game live stream. Give your favorite player their 15 seconds of fame. Just send $25 via Venmo or Cash App to the SFBN. Then you send an email to thesfbn@gmail.com with the name and team of your player, a high-resolution photo, and a 1 to 2 line script for the SFBN commentators to read. Once the payment and email is completed, SFBN will reply to confirm receipt, and you will see your player shout-out at least once per game played. So send out a player shout-out for every Flyers Cup broadcast here on the Sports Fan Base Network.
Attention hockey players. The 2025 Keystone State Games Ice Hockey Tournament will be July 25th through 27th, 2025 at Penn State University State College. If you reside in Bucks, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, or Philadelphia counties, and you are interested in playing in this tournament, please scan the QR code on your screen and pre-register today.
Haddon Planning Group is an independent financial advisory firm serving all Flyers fans across the country. Located in Pennsylvania since 1981, we will offer a free financial plan to all parents of student athletes participating in the Flyers Cup. For more information about our services, go to haddonplanning.com or call Jake Reardon at 856-428-5300. serving all Flyers fans across the country. Located in Pennsylvania since 1981, we will offer a free financial plan to all parents of student athletes participating in the Flyers Cup. For more information about our services, go to haddonplanning.com or call Jake Reardon at 856-428-5300.
Attention hockey players. The 2025 Keystone State Games Ice Hockey Tournament will be July 25th through 27th, 2025 at Penn State University State College. If you reside in Bucks, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, or Philadelphia counties, and you are interested in playing in this tournament, please scan the QR code on your screen and pre-register today.
Ready for third period action here in the last quarterfinal of the AA bracket of the 46th Annual Flyers Cup. Looking good for the 2-seed North Penn Knights at 18-3 and with a 2-0 lead over the defending Flyers Cup champion, the 7-seed Pennridge Rams. I think many are anticipating, or at least were anticipating, the possibility of a 2-versus-1 showdown should they make it all the way there and take on the 21-1 Council Rock South crew that won earlier today, and the Golden Hawks took down Boyertown 5-3, had to rally from behind to do it. They were down 3-0 in the third period. Council Rock South is 21-1. Their one loss this year was against North Penn on February 5th, so almost exactly or a little more than 1 month ago. North Penn and Council Rock South, the 1 and 2 seeds, split their season series. We're not there yet, though. First, North Penn has to finish off this win in the making against the Pennridge Rams. And then both teams have semifinal matchups forthcoming. Council Rock South against the Cinderella Story, the last team in the tournament, the 12-seed Springford Rams. And up next for North Penn, assuming they push this one all the way to a victory, would be a showdown with 3-seed Downingtown East, who defeated 6-seed the Whippets of Downingtown West. All right, carryover power play time for North Penn. We're going to build on a 2-0 lead on the back door. It deflected off of a stick, and good quick active stick. Dukowski racing after it on the slick ice sheet. Boyle beat him to the puck and hands it off over there with Cabrales dodging away from Dukowski, chasing after him behind the goal, and North Penn on the breakout with 15 seconds remaining on the power play. North Penn is 2 for 4 and on their 5th. Both of their goals in this game, one in the first and one in the second, have come on the power play. Shots after 2 favored Pennridge 21-20, with shots in the second period largely in favor of Pennridge 13-7, after North Penn had the shots advantage in the first 13-8. Shingle keeps it into that clearing drive. Back door and a goal! It's Cole Pluck who snaps it through inside the right dot. Right after the power play it ended. It's the 23rd goal of the season for the senior Cole Pluck, and it's 3-0 North Penn. You know, they just jabbed it away, and that was Pluck who actually knocked it free. And then Pluck goes right up to the right circle and buries it. So he prevented the exit and knocked it away and stole it. And then he just streaks up there to snap it in on the right side after another cross seam pass. Those seam passes have created all 3 of their goals for North Penn. That is their first even strength goal of the game. However, that came really as the carryover momentum of the power play that had just barely expired. So 2 power play goals, and the other one that happened right at the end of a power play almost. 3-zip Knights, and that's a biggie and a real deflator for Pennridge. They needed the boost of a big penalty kill to start the third, and they didn't get it really. From behind his own goal, it's D'Aquino carrying it out. 15 minutes to go in the third, and it's looking very good for North Penn to have a Tuesday night showdown with Downingtown East, who knocked off the Whippets 4-0 earlier today. And the Cougars, the 3 seed, also had a first round bye, so they advance, and they've been unscored upon in the tournament thus far, which you can also say for the 2 seed North Penn. They had the first round bye. This is their first game of the tournament, and they have not given up a goal yet. On 21 shots, it's 21 saves for Andrew Norton. Tipped in deep for Pennridge. On his horse and in after it is Cabrales, and he's the first one there. Smoothly stick handling, running into traffic. Now he stayed with it, didn't panic. And Haftel chips it up across a man. Trying to do something with it, but Nicholas Young had an angle on him and kind of forced him over to the corner. Shingle blocked it down on the point, sends a hopper on. And there's another try from the other side for Haftel. Blocked across the slot. And some of these third liners are getting it going here with Declan Willison up there as well. A freshman putting it into the middle, trying to find some sort of ricochet off a body. It didn't happen. Cleared all the way down and it bounces over the stick of Chase Del Ricci and then all the way into the zone. Haftel is chasing after it and they're getting a little feisty and physical in the corner. And there's Nathan McKean, the senior. And he's a big guy and getting in a couple of shots in there while they continue to battle for the puck. Good work on the back check and emerging with it, Luke Haftel, and they clear all the way to the Pennridge side of the red line. Banked forward while North Penn is changing. Pennridge, Zukowski wanted to take advantage. There's Del Ricci right there in the middle to get a block on that shot and deflect it over to the other side. And then along the North Penn bench, getting even more feisty, and finally they're going to try to get a handle on this, get a grip on this, and they call a slashing penalty. And it goes against North Penn. So Pennridge looking to get on the board and trying to come back. And hey, we had a 3-0 deficit in the first game. And the 1 seed Council Rock South rallied from a 3-0 deficit to win 5-3 against the Boyertown Bears in just a stunning comeback. Well, Pennridge is trying to pull a little bit of a repeat here. And they need the 1 first to get it going. Let's see what they can do here on this power play. Young shoots, and he missed it wide. Pennridge is 0 for 4, and on its 5th power play now, a steal, almost a breakaway, but that tap forward beyond the reach of Shingle from Samuel Norton, and it dribbles length of the ice and all the way down. Shingle with a golden assist today, and now hustles back into the neutral zone. Norton tried to chip it forward, stolen back by Pennridge, and tapped over to the Pennridge side. Bouncing puck through center. Scooped up Shingle, who drops it back with 12.5 to go in the third and 1:20 left on the Pennridge power play. But right now it's North Penn playing keep away. And they're going to force him to chase it down. Dukowski goes back and chases him out of the goal. And now he's going to rush forward here. They're expending energy just trying to get it. Cabrales goes wide on a couple D. Sharp angle shot. And it's on to Jacob Winton for the save off the shoulder. And finally the Rams grab a hold of it, and then it squirts free from Howard and broken up by Leahy. Spins one all the way back to the Pennridge zone again. Nicholas Young from behind his goaltender, and here he comes with under 12 minutes to go in the third and 45 seconds on this power play with Dukowski. It's gone nowhere fast so far. Dukowski, sharp angle and a save for Andrew Norton on the sharp angle shot from the left wing. Dukowski kind of picked it up, and after he got checked in the corner, getting some help up there with Nicholas Young. James Rush back on the blue line. Dukowski weaves through the D. A lot of traffic. Hanging on to it. Shooting from the top of the left circle. Leaning to his right. Getting a blocker to knock it away is Andrew Norton. Now out in front. Dukowski. Oh, Pluck just got a piece of his stick with Dukowski right there out in front. And another shot. That's blocked. Defenseman Del Ricci right on top of him. And lifted high in the air and out of play. Hostetter wanted to clear, but instead got too far under it and sent it over the glass with 2 seconds left on the Pennridge Rams power play and 11:14 to go in the third period. 3-0 for the Knights of North Penn, taking care of business here against the Pennridge Rams, and really more of a methodical dismantling while they also had to, weather the storm in the second period when Pennridge had its best push early second period. Shots were like 9-1, 10-1 to begin the second with a couple power plays, so some nice saves by Norton. Rush steals it from Willison, who couldn't clear it away. Rushes into the left wing, shooting, and a glove save, and a nice one for Andrew Norton on James Rush, carrying wide to the left with 27 goals this year, second on the team. 5 hat tricks, 53 points, had 2 goals in game 1, which was a 7-2 win. They poured it on against the Red Devils of Avon Grove. They go from 7 goals in game 1 to 0 goals in game 2. Taking on a tougher opponent and a 2 seed and a good goalie here today too in the form of Andrew Norton with a 228 goals against average coming in. You can see why. He's been pretty steady. He's a big body back there, too. Chase Del Ricci pushed it out to center, and now here comes Lugara gaining speed up the right wing and trying to rush past D'Aquino up there. Collisional on the end boards with Salvati getting a piece of a man, and it's pushed all the way back to the North Penn side. 10.5 to go in the third in this Flyers Cup quarterfinal game, and it's looking good for North Penn, but they still have a lot of time to go, and Pennridge is going to try for another push. They had another intercept, and the North Penn just intercepted it right back. Salvati is in. Salvati down to the corner, centered out in front, and he missed it up and high. That was Declan Willison making a move for the net front, and he had a great chance point blank, but he aimed a little too much for the corner perhaps, and he just missed it off the, maybe got under it a little bit on his stick. Driven in deep, and now the goalie there, Norton, is going to golf it forward and try to send him speeding into the zone. Salvati will just dump it in deep. Get the puck in deep and get off the ice and get the change. Here comes Pennridge now with 9:40 to go in the third. Oh, big collision right there with Samuel Norton blasting into him. And a lead pass, Pluck. Here's Cole Pluck in. Dangle, backhander in on Witten, and he scores. And a beauty for Cole Pluck. His second goal of the period. Dangle-rific for Pluck, and it's 4-0 North Penn. I mean, he dangled it right around the D, and then he shoved that backhander right over the right pad of Jacob Witten. Backhand dangle-rific for Cole Pluck with his 23rd and 24th goals of the season, and now timeout. And I'm going to assume that's timeout called by Pennridge. So what do we have here? 6th seed Hershey looking good to move on at 5-0. AAA action, very interesting with the APAC teams on their way to going down. Father Judge, the 6th seed, leading 3 seed St. Joseph Prep 5-1. Salesiana, the 5 seed, is shutting out 4 seed Malvern Prep 3-0. And Marple Newtown in a wild one with Westchester Henderson in the single A bracket, 6-4, 15 minutes left in that one. So we got 5 games going on at the same time. Good job, Sean Kelly. I mean, that's awesome, all the different games in the corners there. It's high school hockey chaos and Philadelphia's hockey version of our March Madness here, with all of these teams looking to move on. I mean, you got a couple that are kind of out of hand, 5-1, 5-zip, 3-0, but what, Malvern has a 5-on-3 down 3-zip. That's a heck of an interesting situation. Malvern, you know, we just had a 3-0 game here, and then the higher seed got it going and scored 5 straight. And Marple Newtown against Westchester Henderson is a crazy back and forth 6-4 battle. This one, it feels like it is mostly over. It feels like it's mostly decided. Sometimes those feelings can be deceiving, but I don't know what Pennridge has left in the tank, and they just gave up another. It is 4-0 North Penn. And I'm not even, you know, there are different possibilities for why they might have called the timeout there. Reset, or to make sure their emotions stay in check and we don't get a little out of hand here, because, you know, it gets pretty intense when you're playing the last game of your high school career, you know, and you dedicate so much, all the 5 a.m. practices and all of that. You know, so for the seniors and everyone, you know, frustrations, and, you know, they're kids. You get emotional, and I get it. So it might be about that, or it might be just about settling down and, hey, let's see if we can get one. Let's see what we can do. But North Penn just picked it off, and here comes a nice little push for Cabrales going over to the right, and a shot wide from the right circle, comes around the boards and popped back out. Pennridge Rams, the defending Flyers Cup champions, trailing at 4-0 here in the 2-versus-7 matchup. Chipped forward, and here comes Samuel Norton up ice and pushed it in deep. Boy, what nice goals for Cole Pluck in this period, including that last one. And that was the first goal that they had that wasn't on a seam pass. On a backdoor pass, finding a teammate. Here he did it all on his own. Tripping or a kneeing penalty is coming up now. with 8:31 to go in the third.
7-3 black, mind your knee.
Yeah, so it's a kneeing penalty. North Penn is 2 for 5. Might as well be 3 for 5 because the one goal came like 5 seconds after a power play had ended. Officially 2 for 5, and on their 6th, Salvatore D'Aquino on the kneeing penalty. Power play for the North Penn Knights, looking to build on a 4-0 lead. Pushed in down low from Derek Lugara. And over to the corner, Lugara comes in to help out. Dug away by the Pennridge Rams. 8:14 left in the game. And a shot in on goal and deflected up and not out of play. It stays in play. And swatted back out to center. Boyle scoops it up, and James Boyle with a big power play goal in the second period with 5 minutes left that made it 2-0. It was a 1-0 game well past the midway mark of this one. And Pennridge was getting all of the chances. So 4-0 was kind of deceiving. Oh, Silvati really got rocked there. He got hit up high, and oh man. Yeah, the wind kind of knocked out of him some, I think. And I don't know if we have a penalty coming up on this. I think they do. So they're conferencing here. But Silvati got hit up high and was kind of hurting, but goes back over to the bench. And hopefully is catching his breath a little bit and doing okay.
95 Pennridge, 2 penalties, 4 minutes, roughing.
So it's a double minor roughing. And that is James Rush. And so the first 2 minutes, it's a 4-minute double minor. So we have a 5-on-3 for 109. And now they're on their 7th and 8th power plays also. We got a lot of math and work to catch up on. 4-0, looking for another. And then a little kick stop there. And then a cross-check penalty is called on North Penn. So now they're just trying to make sure this doesn't get out of hand here. And so now we have 4-on-3 for a minute, 57 seconds to be precise. So I said North Penn was going to get a 7th and an 8th, but actually they'll just get a 6th and a 7th as it stands right now. It kind of cancels out the other one. Boyle is into the zone now, 4-on-3 power play. Scooped up by Pluck with 2 goals in the third period. And he pivots back on the right circle and drops it off in the corner with 7:10 to go in the game. And a 4-0 lead for the 2-seed North Penn Knights. And a showdown in the semifinals with Downingtown East coming up. 2 versus 3 for the Knights against the Cougars on Tuesday. Backdoor pass hit off of Shins, and back out of the neutral zone. And the quick retreat and back up ice for Pluck, and intercepted and shoved all the way down ice in the long clear. And for both of the top teams, and they've been the top of the heap pretty much all season long, North Penn and Council Rock South, they're kind of aiming for a showdown in the Flyers Cup Championship. In on goal and a shot. And I think he just missed it wide, did Boyle. I don't even think Jacob Winton in goal got a piece of that. So really, we're also witnessing the end of an era here with the Pennridge Rams. 3 straight years for some of these players going to the Flyers Cup Championship games and winning 2 state championships as well as 2 Flyers Cups. But they lost like 14 seniors from last year's team. They've got a couple of good pieces, and their future, maybe 1 or 2 years down the road is certainly bright enough, but they knew that this was kind of their last hurrah, and it just sort of fizzled out on this one in a game that really, I think, is closer than what the score indicated. I mean, the shot's 25-23, and we had a 1-0 game late. Silvati carries it in for North Penn, and shooting, blocked off a leg, shooting again, nice save off the right pad of Andrew Norton. Man, he has done a wonderful job just slamming the door here with now, I think, 23, 24 saves for Andrew Norton. We are 4-on-4 right now, so the 4-on-3 has ended. We're 4-on-4 for 26 seconds, and then North Penn goes back on the power play because it was a double minor. 5:54 to go in the third. You know, they've used the two goalies all season, but Andrew Norton's been so good today, it would not surprise me if he gets to go back-to-back and start again for their Tuesday semifinal game. But Aiden Quigley is a sophomore, and he's been very good also. All right, chopped down on the red line, and it is shot in deep for North Penn, and Pennridge picks it up and out to center, and here comes Embert in, dropping for Shaw, hit off of his stick. Norton is out of the box, 5-on-4 for a minute 50. Seventh power play of the game for North Penn, 2 for 6 right now. A 4-0 lead on a pair of goals in the third period for Cole Pluck, more or less putting it away for North Penn. I mean, this was a 2-0 game to begin the third. Cole Pluck is back out on the ice right now. Hey, he's on hat trick watch. 22 goals and 56 points on the season coming in. Now 24 goals and dangling out in front, back door. And Nolan Shingle couldn't quite get it on net. A hot pass to Handel. And it kind of bounced off the top of his stick and trickles over to the corner. 1:05 to go on the power play. Centering pass, back door was broken up. Cole Pluck had a friend over there, and here comes Pennridge on the counterattack. Good little stick work for Boyle to take it away from Shane Dukowski. Shingle is in on the left wing, and he shoots it over the glove of Winton. That was deflected. That had a good chance to go in. Shingle almost made it 5-zip. Here's Pennridge. The end of the career of Shane Dukowski. 36 goals this season and 5 hat tricks and plenty of big moments in their state championships and Flyers Cup runs. But didn't have enough today. I mean, he had some chances and they really stayed tight on him. And you hold up Shane Dukowski, you got a pretty good chance of beating Pennridge. Here's Pluck in from the left wing, shooting and deflected and blocked and bounced away. Jared Garber got in front of him. Out of the box now comes James Rush. He had a 4-minute double minor for roughing. We're back to 5-on-5. North Penn intercepts, picks it off, trying to center, bouncing around there with Pluck kind of reaching for it from the side of the net and covered by Jacob Winton to blow play down with 3:32 left in the game. North Penn has not won a Flyers Cup previously. They're looking to set some history for their program in a historic season, really, in many ways for them. 18-3 and a 2-seed in the Flyers Cup. Face-off win and a shot deflected, goes a little wide of Winton and over there to the corner. So we have the 5 games live right now. We've got plenty of semifinal action coming up next Tuesday night, largely, if not entirely. Pretty busy stuff. Check it out on the Flyers Cup website. Intercepts Silvati. Good to see him back out there. He was really shook up when he took kind of a high hit on that James Rush double roughing minor and went over to the bench. But seeing him back out there is a good sign that apparently he's okay. Hostetter and Declan Leahy throws it in down low. 2:45 to go in the game. Willison comes in off the bench for North Penn. Nolan Shingle on the power play in the first. James shot a goal! They put it in through James Winton with 2:36 left. They got another, and that looks like it might be Hostetter from way back there. It is 5-0 North Penn. I mean, it just squirts out to Hostetter. Was that tipped or not? Boy, it might have even hit off of something or through a screen, but then it's just right past his left ear and in. So Hostetter scores. 5-0. He had 1 goal all season. Throws it to the net. And I mean, it was just the parting of the seas at the perfect time. And it goes through to the upper right corner. Tyler Evans getting some reps here at the end of the game, and he's up there with Haftel and Willison. Scooped up by the Pennridge Rams with 2 minutes to go in the game. Here comes Pennridge. James Rush and a backhander thrown on net and in front of Andrew Norton. Another one is blocked in front. Gunning has it down to the corner, pivots back and looking for some help, and Haftel ties him up in the corner. Got a piece of it, gets a body on him as well. Rolled around to the other side. And Cabrales looking to clear, and he does, where it was caught by Justin Dinsmore. Driven in deep and handling it there from behind their own goal. And really an impressive display, I think, for North Penn. Pennridge had a decent push, but North Penn looked very strong overall in this game. And some good goaltending from Andrew Norton when they needed it. I still think it's kind of closer than what the final score is going to make it seem, but ultimately a 5-0 win in the quarterfinals against the defending Flyers Cup champs. That's nothing to sneeze at. Here's Declan Leahy up the right wing, shooting it all the way through onto Whitten, a pad save, and a backhander is pushed wide from Thomas Sprague. Sprague in behind the goal, centered out in front, reaching over with a stick to jab it away was Landon Bishop, and back out to center. Declan Leahy chipped it forward. 40 seconds to go, and it'll be official. North Penn with a Tuesday night date with the Downingtown East Vikings. And a 2 versus 3 matchup. And they haven't met this year, by the way. Downingtown East out of the Inter-County League, Chesmont's division. So that'll be an interesting matchup as well. And the North Penn Knights are on their way to going to 19-3. And just a couple seconds left. They hold into the corner, and they will wind the clock down. That is it. It is a 24-save shutout for Andrew Norton and the 2 seed North Penn Knights. Very little problem and very impressive in handling the defending Flyers Cup champion Pennridge Rams in a 5-0 shutout win, including 2 goals for Cole Pluck. Goals in the first and second for Nolan Shingle and James Boyle, and then Landon Hostetter joins the scoring party at the very end to provide for the 5-0 final score. The North Penn Knights improved to 19-3, and the 2 seed moves on to a date with the Downingtown East Cougars on Tuesday. The other semifinal in the AA bracket, Council Rock South, who rallied from a 3-0 deficit to win 5-3. Boy, how about this handshake line? And you love the tradition. The officials are cheering for all of these players as well. Council Rock South rallied from a 3-0 deficit to win 5-3. The 1 seed moved on past 9 seed Boyertown. And the Springford Rams, the Cinderella story continues after they beat Central Bucks South in a 12 versus 5 matchup today. They shut out 4 seed Haverford. So it'll be 1 seed Council Rock South against 12 seed Springford, the last team in the tournament. And then the chalk holds on the other side of the bracket, 2 seed North Penn Knights against the 3 seed Downingtown East. A lot of congratulations, a lot of these guys who know each other well, and a lot of hugs and even maybe some tears on the Pennridge side. Kind of the end of the dynasty that we witness here. They had a wonderful run, but it comes to an end here today as they fall to the North Penn Knights 5-0. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Congratulations to both teams. A job well done and a lot of friends and handshakes on both sides. And now we move on. And the semifinals are coming up next week. See you next week, everyone, as the 46th annual Flyers Cup continues. Bob Rotruck signing off from Hatfield Ice in Colmar, Pennsylvania. Exclusive coverage of the Flyers Cup on YouTube, presented by SFBN.